Hey, good morning guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. We're actually going to do a non-ham radio prepper video today, so stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about this Raddy by Radioddity, and this is the one piece of equipment I was thinking that most people don't have anymore, and that is a standalone AM/FM radio for emergency communications. I would say that most people probably have a radio in their car still, but who wants to idle with the engine on outside to get radio if they lose power in their house? So before we get into my style of reviewing this, I will be giving a brand new one away out of my own pocket. I'm going to keep this one that I received for free from Radioddity because I have been abusing it quite a bit. But I'm actually also going to buy another one for my wife. So at this price point, it's about $39. I think there's absolutely a place for this. So let's talk about the features I like, what I don't like about it, and where I think this fits into your preps, and we'll do some feature walkthroughs. So like I said, not everybody has AM/FM radio anymore in their house. Nobody's carrying around, that giant boom box from the 80s and 90s, for those of you who are old enough to remember those good old years. But I actually do like having this. In fact, I've been using it for the last 2 weeks as my primary method of getting local and national information. I've tested myself not to stream anything or listen to anything on the television set. In fact, where we're at, we can only stream and our internet goes down quite often. So this is absolutely something that I want to have on my kit. So first and foremost, this radio has AM broadcast, FM broadcast, so you can listen to your radio stations, and it also has Noaa receive as well, so you can get local information, weather information in your area. And the reason why I like this radio, not so much its price point, but that's a big factor, is that it has multiple ways of powering it. So on the top, there is a solar cell. I went ahead and discharged this battery fully, and I put it outside in the Sonoran Desert with about 6 to 7 hours of sun, and I was able to get about 3.5 hours of receive on an FM broadcast station. Now, they'll tell you that this solar panel is not intended for doing a full battery charge. It'll just take way too long, but it does work, and it works as a great maintainer, especially if you have this out at a campsite. The real reason I like this radio, and in fact, if it did not have this feature, I would not have endorsed it, and that's the Handcrank. And you can have a fully dead battery and use the Handcrank to provide a minimal charge to the internal 2000 milliamp hour battery. And I did some testing with it where I cranked it for 1 minute and I would get about 5 minutes of receive on an FM broadcast. So really, really, really happy with this feature. It also has a battery compartment that houses 3 AA batteries. I actually never used it because there's an internal 2000 milliamp hour battery, and I was completely happy with that. A full charge connected to the USB here on the back to charge it took less than 2 hours. And I would actually, on that internal battery, get about 14.5 to 15.5 hours of runtime on the radio. So very, very, very happy with that. And it's fantastic that you can actually charge it with 5-volt USB. Now, the one problem I have with this radio, actually there are a few, is that the battery charger that they include here, you can actually draw power from this to charge a 5-volt device like your phone. The big problem is that it stops at about 50%, which means you can only get about 1,000 milliamp hour capacity out of this. I will not use this feature. I was actually pretty disappointed that I was not able to fully charge my Fitbit watch, my phone. So I will not use this for charging devices, or at least relying on it. Instead, I'll just use one of my small battery banks. Let's talk about some other pieces here. It does have a flashlight. The flashlight has a really good runtime. I was never really able to run down the battery on a full charge. I kept it on for I think 4 or 5 hours and just gave up. It's not terribly great in terms of lumens, but it does light a small room. And In general, again, this is not a feature that if it wasn't here, I would still buy this radio. I tend to prefer my everyday carry flashlights instead. Now, what I do love about this is the ability to get AM broadcast stations and FM broadcast stations along with Noaa weather. And what we'll do is let's go ahead and turn this guy on. So it has a very simple power button.
Path to baseball immortality began in the Negro Leagues, and more than 20 years later, as he threatened.
All right, so has some decent volume controls there. That was an example of an FM broadcast station. I found the volume levels to actually be pretty good on the external speaker. I usually kept them at a very reasonable volume, I think about 2 or 3 bars. In fact, I even ran has a speaker jack here, or a headphone jack here, so that you can connect like your wired headphones. And I did listen to this during work with the earbuds in. It was actually really nice. It actually felt like carrying an old Walkman around. Again, another 1990s reference for you guys, or maybe late 80s reference. So yeah, really happy with it. The speaker is what it is. You know, what do you expect for a $39 radio? But very happy with it. I did have an issue with the AM broadcast inside the house. The telescoping antenna, while it's there, didn't do a whole lot of good for me on receive, but as soon as I went outside, the AM broadcast stations came through just fine. Let's see if we can actually get AM inside of the RV. So we'll turn on the radio.
In his first 100 days in office, can he pull it off?
We'll turn down the volume. And to switch between AM and FM and no weather, just press this button. And as you can see, the station is not coming in through very well for me. But again, if I were to go outside, it works perfectly fine. In fact, I'll show you a little clip of that outside.
For sound totally free, plus a special gift that produces instant results. If you want to regain your...
Now, the third option we have is the Noaa weather broadcast. And this is great for getting localized weather information in your area. So we'll press this button once more, and then I'll turn up the volume.
Flagstaff, winter storm warning in effect from 8 p.m. this evening to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time Sunday, above 6,000 feet. Today, a chance of rain and snow showers.
Taking her 91.
So, works pretty well. I think there are 5 Noaa weather stations, so very happy with that as well. It does have an SOS feature. I don't know if I would ever use this, but it essentially will flash the lights and sound an alarm. What the heck? Let's go ahead and try that. So turn it on. Hold down. All right, so again, don't know if I'll use that feature. Outside of that, guys, I am really impressed. I have been using this now for over 2.5, 3 weeks to get almost all of my radio, or all of my news information. Again, guys, this is a budget radio. It has a lot of interesting features. For me, the reason why I want it is I like the multi-fuel source that it has. Solar to top it off and possibly even give you a non-trivial amount to charge. The Handcrank is absolutely my favorite feature on this radio. It has the 3 AA compartment for additional runtime, and then it has the internal lithium battery that's rated at 2,000 milliamp hour. Oh, I forgot. There are 2 other things here. It has a bottle opener. I did test this. It's a bit awkward to use given the size, but it does work. And it does have a carabiner style clip. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't have any type of attachment points on my gear to attach it. Instead, I took another carabiner and clipped it around the this area right here. So what I will say, in general, I like this, especially at the price point. I'll use it for mostly FM receive, AM receive if I'm outside, and certainly Noaa weather. In a pinch, the flashlight actually does a pretty good job of giving you some light in a dark room. I will tell you, if you're not familiar with the buttons, these don't light up in any way. So in the dark, if you're trying to use this for the first time, even with the flashlight on, you can't really figure out what the batteries do, so keep that in mind. But In general, I am very pleased with this radio, especially at its budget price point. If it was priced any higher, I would have a very different opinion. So let's give one of these away. What I want you guys to do is pretty simple. Put hashtag RADDY, that's Romeo Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, in the comments below. I will randomly pick a winner next week. And if you can, on top of that, please tell me one thing you guys like about the channel, one thing you'd like me to change, or whatever the heck you want to put in there. As long as you put the hashtag RADDY, you'll be included in the drawing. So yeah, guys, also, something interesting. How many of you guys actually have a dedicated AM, FM radio? Put it down below. I'd like to know that. And if you guys want to help support the channel, I'll put my affiliate link to this radio. I do get a small commission, like on the order of pennies, but every little bit helps, so I do appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. I think I have less than 20% of the people that watch the videos actually subscribe, so I don't know if it's me or you guys forget to hit that little button, but whatever the case may be, I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and well, I guess that's it. Be strong, be safe, and be prepared.